Heartbreak over a hard man. A coach's reaction in France to the death of an All Black and his partner.
The last time I saw them, they were enormously happy and in love, and that's my best memory of Jerry.
He came from the school of hard knocks. How they're marking Jerry Collins in his old home patch.
Kia ora, good evening. We begin with the hurt over the hitman. The pain's evident in the rugby world as it comes to terms with the death of former All Black Jerry Collins.
We have reaction from here and in France, where Collins and his partner Alana Medill died in a car crash. First, let's go to our Europe correspondent Jessica Much in Montpellier. Jess.
Well, I'm at the hospital in Montpellier where 4-month-old Ayla is recovering. The latest is that her situation is improving slightly, but she still is in a critical condition. She was the only one to survive the crash that killed both her parents.
Remembering a rugby legend. Outside his French club Narbonne, a makeshift memorial for Jerry Collins and his partner Alana.
They were two people in love with a new baby, and sometimes your mortality reminds you that life just isn't fair sometimes.
This is what was left of the car. French police have told One News Alana was driving and Jerry and baby Ayla were in the back.
This is where the crash happened. The A9 is a 6-lane highway connecting France and Spain. Local authorities have told me that even in the early hours of the morning, it's still a busy road.
French police say the car hit the side barrier and ended up at 90 degrees across the road. That's when a bus struck the car, pushing it 100 metres and killing the two adults.
The last time I saw them, they were enormously happy and in love, and that's my best memory of Jerry.
And the referee wants to speak, I think, to Jerry Collins.
Justin Harrison knew Collins as a fierce rival on the pitch before he became his coach and friend. He says he was a lion of a man and deserved his long list of rugby accolades.
Possibly one of his greatest achievements was just starting now with his new family. They moved to France to start a new life with a new baby.
The couple had only just moved to Narbonne. He'd done a stint in Japan after leaving New Zealand in 2008. Now he's coming home. The New Zealand and Canadian embassies have arrived in Montpellier to organise bringing the bodies home. 4-month-old Ayla will fight on without her parents.
So, Jess, the support network is now gathering for little Ayla. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, a group of Samoan rugby players who played for the Hurricanes and then the All Blacks have rallied together. Nemea Tialata and his wife and Chris Marsoe and his family are due here to help take care of baby Ayla. The expat community, the rugby community here in France are also doing their part. They're planning to have a fundraising game in a few hours' time, about an hour's drive from here, and all of that money will go towards helping the family of Jerry and Alana some small tribute in this tragic time.
Europe correspondent Jessica Much.
Well, now to where Jerry Collins first made his mark on the rugby field. His old school, St Pat's Town in Wellington, faced a traditional rival today. The perfect backdrop for a tribute. This from James Ransley.
A college haka in memory of rugby's so-called hitman. In Wellington, Rongotai versus Jerry Collins' old high school, St Pat's Town.
He played his first traditional game out here on this ground 19 years ago, and he had a great game.
In keeping with the family's rugby heritage, Collins' nephew playing on the wing. The 34-year-old was regarded as one of the hardest players in the game.
He was uncompromising, and that's the job description of a blindside flanker. You know, big, tough and ugly, hit first and ask questions later.
It was a joy for me to just see him slip into that 6th jersey, the black jersey. It was a jersey that I loved wearing.
Jerry Collins played 48 tests for the All Blacks and 74 games for the Hurricanes. After leaving New Zealand in 2008, he turned out for clubs in Japan and France. Off the field, family friends Latia Ahoy and Paul Whiting remember Collins' commitment to his hometown of Cannons Creek, north of Wellington.
Because he was just so well known, he would have lots of little kids just hanging around him and would follow him to the corner dairy. And he would buy them all ice blocks.
Paul used to manage Collins' old rugby team in his early days.
He says, I don't want you to collect any money off the players today. I want to shout. Never said the reason why. Next morning to get a phone call to find he's made the All Blacks. That's how Jerry was, you know. Didn't make a big deal about it.
They've known the Collins family for more than 20 years. Latia's spoken with Collins' parents.
The family are absolutely devastated and they're struggling to understand and comprehend what's actually happened.
The Loose Ford's long-standing manager making an emotional tribute to the Samoan-born Kiwi.
I've looked after Jerry for a long time, and he is a friend, and like everybody, this is a very difficult time.
Last night at the Hurricanes versus Highlanders match in Napier, Ma'ononu's try a fitting tribute to his former teammate.
I sat on the bus, thought I was all right, and then, saw the changing room before the game. It was a bit tough.
This haka at a testimonial in France, one of the last images of a rugby great. James Ransley, One News.
And someone who knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of the hitman says he was a gentleman off the field. Colin Charvis was knocked out by this bone-crunching Collins tackle when Wales met the All Blacks in 2003.
Charvis straight into Collins. How's that for a tackle? Take that.
That's all water under the bridge. You know, we all shake hands after a game. We all move on. And, it was great watching him play, great playing against him. And now it's just the sadness of the loss to his family and obviously to the world of rugby.
Collins went on to play in Wales for Ospreys. And an English rugby club has a special story to tell about Collins. We have that in full on our website, onenews.co.nz, and also a snippet later in sport.
Pure idea. All right, sport, real sport now, Jenny May, and look at the lighter side of hitman Jerry Collins.
He had a irreverent type of sense of humour and he was a very, very funny guy. Stephen Stewart came up with this line. JC was good at bending bones, but also had a knack of hitting the funny bone as well.
They really need to grow dreadlocks to get chicks in it. So.
Yes, he had some classic one-liners, did Jerry. And no doubt he would have been smiling at his Hurricanes performance, hammering the Highlanders in Napier last night. Kia ora, welcome back to sport. As we reported earlier, tributes continue to pour in for legendary All Black hardman Jerry Collins. While the 34-year-old will always be remembered for his uncompromising style of play, off the field his comic timing left people in stitches too. Here's Stephen Stewart with a look back at some of Collins' memorable one-liners.
Jerry Collins always had a way with people and words.
I'm a nail and hammers guy, I'm just a labourer out there at this stage, so I haven't had the chance to start building anything.
He became a demolition expert, even impressing rivals for his jersey.
I don't think anyone's quite as hard as JC.
Or sometimes as unorthodox, as Wallaby George Smith discovered.
They really need to grow dreadlocks to get chicks in it. So.
Fans and relations couldn't get enough of him.
He's an inspiration to everyone, and even me, just watching him doing what he does.
But unlike his cousin Tana, Collins wasn't a handbag at 5 paces type.
No, I don't deal in handbags, so we're more shotgun guys. So.
He was always up for a game, and what went with it?
You can pretty much be yourself, and no one really cares whether you trip over or whether you drop the ball.
And when the All Blacks were dropped from the 2007 Rugby World Cup in what proved to be his last test, Collins wasn't looking for excuses.
Yeah, we won most of the facets in the game, we just didn't win it on the scoreboard.
He reappeared playing for an English club side second 15 in Devon.
He phones up Dan Carter and says, "You wouldn't believe where I am today, bro."
More versatile than many gave him credit for.
Team New Zealand, they were looking for one of those trimmers. They should have asked me.
Campbell's used him in a soup commercial 10 years ago.
He's a pretty big boy. So it's a good contest.
Larger-than-life Jerry Collins was even being remembered for his hair today by one of his great mates, Chris Marsoe. Stephen Stewart, One News.
Yes, and the way the Hurricanes bullied the Highlanders last night to take out the New Zealand conference, book a home semi-final and gain a week off in the process would have no doubt made Jerry Collins immensely proud of his old franchise. George Berry has the 56-20 drubbing.
Here's Nonu showing his power.
What a better way to honour your mate than with a try in true Jerry Collins fashion. Right from the start, the emotionally charged match pointed to something special.
What a pass! And Blake Thompson, that was super.
The opening try scored by the man in Jerry's old jersey. Even their small guys threw in a few moves directly from the Collins playbook.
James Marshall, what a try! O'Hara looking to have a dab.
And while the Highlanders weren't without a reply or two,
massive numbers right.
Tanaka, and they must score. They do score.
the Hurricanes would be all about one thing.
There was a bit of emotion because obviously we just found out just before we went on the bus, and obviously Drew is a Hurricane man through and through, and we boys were pretty sad, and we really wanted to go out and use that motivation to kind of, that was for him and his family back in Pairua. So yeah, if your family are watching, mate, Jerry, that was for you, mate.
The Highlanders pretty much watching on in the second half as the Hurricanes ran in a further 3 tries.
Savia again puts the foot down. Adi Savia, and on the inside it goes, and Perenara does it again. He's dropped it off to Nono, and he's off again. 50 points.
A resounding win, a tribute for a much-loved Hurricane lost. George Berry, One News.